What if there was a perfect chord for beginning guitarists that not only strengthened fingers and built coordination, but was also positioned in a way that allowed you to move effortlessly to neighboring chords and to start to build your own songs, almost immediately? Well, there is. It's G major, but not any G major. Hi, I'm Joshua Kenson, and this is Kenson Guitar Academy. G major is a chord that all beginning guitarists learn fairly early on, but you're going to find with guitar there's always multiple ways to do things. Now, the way that I show G major at first is usually like this, with our first, second, and third finger, and we are pressing down on the 5th string at the 2nd fret, the 6th string at the 3rd fret, and the 1st string at the 3rd fret. But for the version we're learning today, we're going to add one more finger, our pinky or 4th finger. So what you're going to do is take your 3rd finger and move it up to the 3rd fret at the 2nd string, and then we're going to take our 4th finger, our pinky, and put it right underneath it at the 1st string at the 3rd fret. Playing G major this way is going to allow us to do some pretty cool stuff right away. With our fingers positioned this way, we can now move to a whole bunch of different chords while only having to move our 1st and 2nd fingers. Our 3rd and 4th finger are going to stay there the whole time. Now, this is going to strengthen our fingers. Usually our 4th finger is kind of one of the weaker fingers that we have, but now that we are going to kind of lock it in here and leave it in place the whole time, you're really going to start to build some strength in those 3rd and 4th fingers, especially the 4th finger. So from here I can do things like start with the G major. If I just take off my 2nd finger, now we're in an E minor 7. I can just go back and forth. Can't get much simpler than that. But that's not all. We have that easy access to E minor 7, but I also have access to a whole bunch of other chords simply by having to move my 1st and 2nd finger. So I have G major, we just learned the E minor 7, there's like an A sus4. Everything here, notice I didn't have to move this once. That 3rd and 4th finger are just locked into position and kind of acting as almost like a reverse pedal tone. A pedal tone is usually like when you have a low droning sound, like that low E sound, and then notes are played above it. But this is kind of reversed. We have these 3 notes that are just on top the whole time. The lower half changes, but that drone happens all the time. So let's look at these other formations in more depth. So we already did that E minor 7, super simple. That was just lifting off our 2nd finger. But what if we take this G major shape here, and now I'm just going to take my 1st finger and my 2nd finger and move them down a string apiece. So now my 1st finger is on the 4th string at the 2nd fret, and my 2nd finger is on the 5th string at the 3rd fret. This is a C add 9. Now that is strummed from the 5th string down. The root note is on the 5th string, so you're going to try to omit that 6th string, avoid it if you can in your strumming. You'll kind of notice I have my thumb hanging out over here a little bit, and I am simply muting that string out. So even if I do catch it, you're not going to hear it. So a very common chord change, G major, C major, well, even simpler now. Next form, we're going to take this C add 9 shape, and I'm going to take this 1st finger and drop it down one more string. So now it's on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. And now I'm going to lift that 2nd finger off. So this is a D kind of shape here. This is a D major shape with that drone on the top. The particular chord that this is actually called is a D sus4. So our root note is on the 4th string. Again, we're going to try to omit that 5th and 6th string and just focus in on the top half of the guitar there. Same deal, I kind of have my thumb hanging out over the top here to omit that 6th string. The 5th string actually kind of sounds good with this particular shape because A, the note A, is in that chord. You can hear it's also right there. So if I happen to catch that 5th string, that's now a D sus4 with the A in the bass. So with those 3 chords now, G major, into that C add 9, the D sus4. Sounds really good. Now I can take that progression again, G major, C add 9, the D sus4. How about that E minor 7? Also sounds pretty good. So there's a lot of variation that you can do here. Even with those 4 chords, I feel like there's a whole lot of songs that use just those 4 chords. Let's see here. We've all heard a song that sounds like this. If it sounds familiar, let me know in the comments what you think it is. Really nice sounding. Another chord that we can get to is this A right here, okay? So again, we have that droning over the top. So again, we have that G, and then we would be going into, this is an A7 sus4. We can go to the C add 9 again. How about that D sus4? G major, and A7 sus4. C add 9, there's that D sus4, how about that E minor 7 again? D sus4, C, G. So really these are just effortless, like all of these chord changes sound really good. And as a beginner, this allows you to experiment and even write songs right off the bat. 2 more shapes to take a look at. Obviously we still have our 3rd and 4th finger on that 1st and 2nd string, but I can also put my 1st finger on the 2nd fret here. This is an F sharp, a 2nd fret of the 6th string, and I'm kind of muting out that 5th string. I don't really want to hear it just because it gets a little muddled. So my 1st finger is also touching slightly that 5th string just to mute it out. So by itself, if you just hear that, a little dissonant, doesn't really sound very pleasing to the ear right off the bat. But when you put it into context, it's going to work really well. So again, here's that G major. Something just like going back and forth. But also it could be kind of a passing chord into that E minor. Back to the G. So it's kind of like this step down. We're walking down the stairs. G, F sharp, E minor. F sharp, G. So we have that F sharp there. Now we could also do kind of a B minor shape here, right? So all I'm doing now is instead of having that 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, I'm going to move it down to the 5th string. Now you might be thinking that looks exactly like that E minor 7 shape that we played before. And it is. So what we have to do is take that thumb and either mute out that 6th string so we only hear from the 5th string down, or when you are strumming, you just want to make sure that you are only including from the 5th string down, okay? So this is going to allow us to lead into that C major or climb up from the G major. So we have a G major, the B, C. You can go back down. How about G to the A, into the B, C add 9, we can do that again, G, A, B, C, how about to the D, to the C, you make it sad, go to the E, D, C. So all of this, I mean, I feel like these sound like a lot of kind of 2000s songs in there somewhere, some late 90s, early 2000s stuff, maybe like Goo Goo Dolls kind of sound. But if you're interested in songwriting, here is a way for you to jump in and take a relatively few amount of chords, but also that a relatively small space on the guitar and start creating something really within your first month of playing. So a couple more examples of songs that use these shapes. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the name of this song, but I'm gonna look it up and I'll put it in the description. So this starts with the G, into the C, the F sharp, the B, E minor, D, C. I know you know this song. I can't remember the name. G, C, F sharp, B, E minor, D, C. And this is more of a waltz, so we're counting to 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm strumming this by striking the root and then strumming down, up, down, up. And that's on each chord. So that's root, down, up, root, down, up, root, down, up, root, down, up, root, root, down, up, root, down. If you watched my strumming video, you remember how important it is to keep that right hand moving. It's going to allow you to keep that rhythm up and not get tripped up. Another example, another 90s song, Oasis, Wonderwall, E minor, G, the D, the A, E minor, to the D. There may or may not be a version of this of me playing it somewhere out on YouTube, I don't know. So why is G major the perfect chord and not this E minor 7 or the D sus4 or that A? The main reason is G major is kind of the home here. Everything is built off of that. We are in the key of G major, so I can veer away from the G major, go to these other chords, but I always want to go back. It feels complete when we go back to that G major. So we learn that G major, and then we learn all those other variations of those chords surrounding it, and we're able to come up with these really cool progressions. If you have any questions about this video or any guitar questions in general, make sure to leave me a comment down below. I want to be a resource, so please ask away. And if you are a new guitarist, I have a free PDF link down below, 13 things that all new guitarists should do/know. So check that out if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure to subscribe. I have a whole lot more on the way. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'm Joshua Kenson, and I'll see you in the next one.